why do you think the students choose foreign countries for the higher education?
More exposed to a global learning environment. They have better career prospects. QS ranking, which is more widely acceptable and more popular. Your scholarships can take care of your cost of the program.
What are the factors that should be kept in mind for choosing the right country?
You will still be allowed to work in that particular country. Usually the universities see that how unique you are as a student, what kind of an assignments you were involved, what kind of an extracurricular activities you were involved, and especially the community engagement, that is something valued.
Welcome to KRMU Times. This is Rebecca with a new episode on Career Compass, where we dive into the world of education, opportunities and the future of learning. Today, we are discussing a topic that's on the mind of many students and parents, higher education abroad. And if you are considering studying in another country or simply curious about the process, this episode is for you. So joining us today is Dr. Meenakshi Gujral, a corporate trainer, consultant and subject matter expert in business development, sales and marketing, and an authority on international education and admissions. Dr. Meenakshi Gujral will help us unpack everything from choosing the right university to navigating students' life abroad. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you.
So let's dive right into the question. So, ma'am, why do you think the students choose foreign countries for the higher education than their own home countries?
Usually students go for foreign universities to be able to work and experience themselves in a diversified culture, for better facilities, for better opportunities to fund their education, and as well as for better infrastructural facilities particularly.
And ma'am, what are the benefits of students while they gain when they go to the foreign universities? Will they benefit anything personally or academically?
Well, they both are being benefited in terms of academically as well as personally. So when it comes to academics, definitely they are more exposed to a global learning environment. They have better career prospects, and personally they develop better adaptability while they are in some other culture and studying. They definitely become more diversified with the skills. They are more eligible or appropriate for working in a culture where it requires kind of international exposure or a multicultural environment. And we all understand that how each of the companies, whether they are Indian origin or origin from outside the world, the globe has become really shrunken down. It has become really small. So when we see this, you work in any company, whether you work within India or outside India, the first foremost thing that you see is that people from different cultures are working together. So while when you study abroad, you are better adapted to work with them as teams. You are better adapted to understand the sensitivity of the other cultures, and you broaden your horizons better, at the worldwide horizons that we call it as. You develop it better when you are already exposed to an international environment.
Okay, ma'am. So is there any particular profile for the students? Like, is it the option for everyone?
I personally feel it's an option for everyone.
Okay.
And if you've been into any kind of a regular studies at a bachelor levels or a master's level in any of the universities, whether it is private or whether it is government, and if your degrees are recognized by the University Grants Commission here in India, you're definitely eligible to apply abroad. One of the key factors that you should look for is the rankings of the universities abroad. So QS ranking, which is more widely acceptable and more popular, that is something you should make it as one of the foremost criteria. So while you are choosing up or you're looking at exploring the universities in the foreign land, and if you are already in your bachelor's, if you have enough, your university provides enough ties or tie-ups with the foreign university, you can definitely progress after 2 years of your study in the third year to the foreign university, or you can even do a semester abroad if that's an arrangement, if your university allows, and if your university is well networked with the foreign university. So while you're studying, you can also gain extra certificates and extra course certificates with on some short courses as well. So you can even be a part of something like a short immersion, which could be an academic and a cultural immersion. You can definitely progress from a bachelor's to master's. So once you complete your bachelor's with the university support where you're studying currently, they can give you a way out at how you can apply for your post graduation in the same field, and what would be really the good ones there you can apply. They can help you shortlist, and they can help you with all other documents that are required for your first level of application that can go to the foreign universities.
Okay.
So everybody is should do, and I think everybody every student can go through it. Financial thing is something that you really have to keep in mind, because you have to really mindfully budget out before you think about studying abroad, irrespective the currency conversions or the destination that you finalize or the university you finalize based on its QS rankings. The cost of the program itself could be very high, or it could even be that the living expenditure in that particular country is very high. So your scholarships can take care of your cost of the program, for the whole duration and you are there. But living expenses, your additional hidden cost, that is something you have to really be a little mindful, that when you would like to invest that money in your education, then you can plan it well in advance, that whether I would like to pursue post graduation, after graduation, or maybe during the graduation itself. If you think that you have a financial muscle to bear it, then definitely you should go.
Okay, ma'am. So the next question is actually personal, because even I am a student who wants to pursue my higher education abroad. So ma'am, what are the factors that should be kept in mind for choosing the right country for a higher education?
Well, they are the foremost is when you are choosing the country. I feel that your approach should be ideally first, looking at choosing the universities. So your first search should ideally begin with, search on the rankings. That QS ranking is something that is very reliable, and it gives you a very good breakout on that what are the courses which are, stands on the ranking very well. And you can, from the, let's say you are a student of a journalism, so maybe you can look at that which are the universities which are actually popular for the courses which are allied or related to the journalism, and then you can further narrow down your search on the destination, and you can look at the cost of living in the destination. That is important. Then very important is the kind of scholarships or kind of job opportunities it can provide you, particularly after you complete your course. And because there are some really great destinations where the visa policies are such that they can give you post study kind of a work permit. So there's a capped for 1 year, 2 year. So like UK has for 2 years. So that can go as in favor for you, because after you complete, you will still be allowed to work in that particular country for the next 2 years. And during those 2 years, you can actually, explore and find out a better career opportunities for yourself. So these are few criterias. And another very important thing is, then when in the application process, usually the universities see that how unique you are as a student and why you want to apply here. So your LORs have to be very unique, your letter of references, your journey, if let's say you're a bachelor student and you want to apply for a master's, what you have been doing in bachelor students as a bachelor student is very important. What kind of a projects that you have been doing, what kind of an assignments you were involved, what kind of an extracurricular activities you were involved, and especially the community engagement. That is something valued in the foreign land too much. So how well you were in the community engagement initiatives through your university, because that exactly tells that how student is able to balance out the academic and the social life, and whether the student will be able to adjust himself or herself in the foreign land.
Okay. Ma'am, as you said right now about the ranking, so how important is to look into the university or the country's educational system?
Well, ranking gives you a very good fair idea about what kind of an educational policies they have been following, what kind of courses are there, whether those are validated, enough, and can they land you up into a good, career prospects or not. Very important thing, because you see, across world when you see the education systems, they're varied. India follows a certain system,
Yeah.
and the academia in India works differently. Right, from the US, the teaching pedagogy is very different. What is being followed, for example, if you compare with the US, or maybe you compare with any other country. So, what is important for you to look at is that when you browse and when you see the courses, obviously that also outlines to some extent that what kind of an expectation is there from the students, right? And before you take that call, whether you'll be able to fit yourself into that course or not, it's always a good idea to connect with the current students in that university. So you can use social media platforms. You can go on to any, LinkedIn, or maybe I would not recommend Insta, but LinkedIn, which is very reliable. You can search out the alumni from that university. You can search out the students who are currently pursuing the course of your interest, and maybe build a conversation with them, and ask them in general that what kind of assignments they get, or what is the methods that their professors do take up in the class, and what kind of an expectations is there from the student side, how oftenly they have to make presentations, or are they required or they not. In the teaching pedagogy, is the case studies are involved, and what again is the expectation that is out from the students, how participatives are the classes. So you can get a little rough idea that whether you can fit into that or not. However, the ranking assures that yes, the education system that is being followed by the university is something which is as desired by the government of that particular country. So that is the best way to really narrow down your search.
Ma'am, so according to you, what are the key requirements for a student to apply to the foreign countries?
So for the first application, the set of application that you, or the first contacts that you make to the university, definitely your letter of recommendations are required. The references from the professors or from the academicians that you have possibly closely worked with, or maybe from a letter from your dean who knows your journey, let's say in a bachelor's. So that is definitely of a lot value. Your personal statement is very important. How uniquely you are able to put across the personal statement, that is also something which is extremely important. Then your basic qualifications, the basic eligibility that you must find out, whether to apply in that particular course or that to apply in that particular university, do you require SAT, or you require GRE, or any English proficiency testing is required. TOEFL is there, and now recently Pearson has also come up with their English proficiency test, which is also taking up quite wide popularity. And in some of the countries, we see that over the TOEFL that is being the Pearson's English proficiency test is basically which is widely more accepted. So those are the few things, and something that you can plan well in advance.
Yeah.
Those are the things which are generally valid for a year or 2 years. So you can actually plan well in advance. You can prepare yourself for those tests, give them, and get dusted with that. So by the time you come down on the dates of actually applying and put across your applications, when the applications get open, then you're all ready with, all your marks and scoring cards and everything. And I also mentioned that, community engagement is important. So while you are studying, it's a good idea to be associated with any non-government organization, any NGOs. Universities are generally have tie-ups with NGOs, and even, universities at times even adopt nearby villages. So that is where you can, regularly involve yourself in certain kind of an activities, be a part of it, experience it, and gain that experience. So that is also important. So when you apply this, these are the unique things that universities would like to see, that what is in that you bring in for them, and how diversely, you contribute to their already existing student population.
So ma'am, as you mentioned earlier about the test, so how early should students apply for all this?
So I feel anyone who is looking forward for some good options abroad ideally should start preparing 12 to 18 months beforehand, because let's say if next year I would like to apply for university, so I should start my first level of search today, and I should start looking at the dates that are possible for the eligibility test after narrowing down that where exactly I would like to apply. Ranking should ideally be the best criteria while you choose. As I said, that it tells you a lot and it gives you a lot of details about the universities and also the claims that university makes, so that tells you a lot.
Okay ma'am, so do these extracurricular activities that they play a vital role in admission process in these foreign countries?
So one of the things that most foreign universities look at is the unique, diverse experiences a candidate brings on the table for them. And as a part of a unique experience, definitely all these extracurricular activities play a great role. It sounds and it talks more loud about your personality. It also tells that how adaptive you are, how good you are working in groups, and that is something which is very important, and how possibly diverse you are in your thinking when you get to you get to participate in extracurricular activities. So these help to shape up your personality. So they definitely add lot value. And I'm repeating myself, possibly community engagement, that's something which is really valued a lot.
Okay. So ma'am, the first thought that comes into the mind of a student who plans to study abroad is the expenses. So what are the best ways, according to you, to manage the expenses?
Well, there are two factors. One is that one is the fixed cost, which is like program, your accommodation. These are the bigger costs that are there, right? And the other ones is your living expenses, your based on your lifestyle. So these are the two things. For your bigger expenses, like your program cost or your accommodation or a hostel accommodation, that can be taken care through number of good scholarships that are offered by the universities. Okay. And they are purely based on your credentials, and they are purely based on, again, what kind of a uniqueness that you bring in, and if you're able to prove yourself that you can be a really good eligible student material for them. Now the second thing is your living expenses, and something which is sometimes not very accountable as well. Sometimes sitting here and visualizing how I will manage what I will do, what would be my regular, let's say, daily meal expense or daily transportation expense, it sometimes is tough. So a good idea is to first estimate this, roughly, that how much probably I would be needing for a month to survive or a year to survive, and budget it out, that how much support that you can get it from your own money that you have deposited or saved, or if you can take some kind of a study loan over that, right? Or any other kind of a loan to manage your living expenses, and how do you plan to repay back? Yeah. Another thing could be that the part-time job opportunities that a geographical region can offer you. So while studying on a student visa, in certain geographies, they are permitted to work for certain number of hours per week. So usually it's like 20 hours per week. So you can pick up a kind of a part-time job, or maybe a kind of a part-time job within the university itself. You can explore that as well while you network with the other people, other students. So that are the two things that you can do.
So, ma'am, what are the scholarships or grants that we as a international students can avail from these foreign universities? Because where do we find them?
Websites?
Yeah.
So website has all the information. The university websites have generally complete information about the scholarships, about the grants. You can just simply contact their international office or a student engagement office. They definitely very proactive generally in answering the queries. Their applications also they are online available. You can quickly fill in and you can ask that you're looking forward for this program and you would like to apply for it, and what kind of an opportunities that I can avail. Scholarships usually have certain criterias. So if you fulfill that criteria, certainly you will be eligible. But every university offers different scholarships.
Yeah.
So you have to see that in your course of interest, whether at the graduation or a post graduation level, are they offering some kind of a scholarships or not.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for sharing such valuable insights. It's clear that studying abroad can be a life-changing experience, but it requires careful planning and consideration, like you said. So, to our listeners, if you are thinking about taking this step, remember, do your research, start early, and explore all the resources available to you. So, that's all for today's episode. If you enjoyed this conversation, be sure to subscribe and we'll be back with more discussions. If you have any queries, drop on a mail to this mail ID. Thanks for tuning in.